Thank you, Katie. Yeah, uh, I'm excited. Well, I'm super excited to be back here in person. I can't tell you. I was away for, well, from here in person, almost 5 months and traveling. And I joined every Sunday. It was definitely part of my routine to come and join and be with you every Sunday. But being here in person is just a whole other level. So I am so excited to be back here in person to see you all. I've been waiting for this time for a long time. So our theme this month is health. And of course, it was my turn to speak. So I get slotted in. And I was thinking, health? I don't know about health. I'm not one of those people. I'm not one of those healer people. I don't know about that. And then I thought, well, wonder what spiritual health might be. There's physical health, emotional health, mental health. What might spiritual health look like? So I thought, okay, I'll write about that. I'll see what the what inspiration comes as I set that as my intention. So I sent that in, months ago, as we have to do with our talks, and then it came time this week to write my talk. And so I had this little can of spiritual health, and I opened it up and I looked in, and it was like, oh my God, this is a can of worms. So what I will tell you is I've been on this huge journey of exploration this week of trying to figure out, just for my own self, like, what would that be and what is the connection? Because I noticed that, our bodies are absolutely remarkable physical manifestations of our spirit, right? When we get a cut, what do? Our body jumps in and starts the healing process right away. Our body is always looking for that balance point. So I thought, well, maybe there's something like that in spiritual health. Maybe that qualifies as well. So then, of course, I went to the internet to look up, well, what does other people think spiritual health is? So my own definition, I will tell you, my own definition is that spiritual health is when we are living in alignment with our soul purpose. But I think soul purpose has a lot of misunderstandings around it, because I think we actually all have the exact same soul purpose, which is basically to embody the divine here on the planet. The journeys we take, the things that we experience, the ways that we get to that purpose and follow along in that purpose are all completely different and unique. But I think it's all the same. All right, so let's get into the meat of it. So I found a really cool definition that I thought was really great for spiritual health. So it has 3 parts. So here's what it says. To feel at peace with life, it is when you find hope and comfort, even in the hardest of times. And it can help support you as you experience life completely. So I thought, I like that definition. It kind of captures a lot of different aspects. And so I broke it into 3 different parts. And what I realized this morning as I was going over my talk is that the 3 different parts are almost like 3 different levels of descending into ever deeper connection with that place of spiritual health within us. So I invite you to take whatever I say that works for you, leave the rest. These are my thoughts around it. Okay, so first of all, feel at peace with life. How at peace do you feel with life? So just kind of ponder that for yourself for a moment. And what is it that really disturbs that peace? Well, I'd say it's, there's one thing. It comes in many variations and colors, but basically it's the one thing of fear. Right? Anything that raises up fear within us is a disturbance to that peace. And the other thing I just want to say about this level, so this is the surface level as we begin to go deeper. And so I think everybody here in this room knows that we have sort of two lives. There's the outer life, which is this physical life that we move around in and meet people in, and everything that's on the outside that correlates to our five senses. And then we have an inner world, right? I have to say, there was a time in my life when I didn't know I had an inner world. And let me tell you, my life was not peaceful. I was thrown around as if life was like the rapids, and rocks would show up and I'd smash into the rocks, and I would go under the water and things would swirl around. And so at this level of finding peace, it's first of all understanding that we do have that inner life and beginning to tune into that inner life, because it's actually our inner life which then manifests on the outside. So how do we create this peace in our lives? Well, one way is complete acceptance. Acceptance of what is. Because anytime we're in resistance, then we're not in peace, right? Can't be in resistance and peace at the same time. This is a place of self-compassion, self-care, right? Really treating ourselves well, because this journey is this journey is not for the faint of heart, right? Things happen. It can be a very rough ride. So, and we can make mistakes, and we can fall out of our boat, and we can, lose our temper, and we can, do things that we wish we hadn't have done. So this is all things that will then disturb that level of peace. So to bring back that peace, we can bring back some self-care, some self-compassion. The whole last month was all about compassion, right? And of course, forgiveness. Forgiving ourselves, forgiving others. And that's a whole other talk onto its own. So there's also things in our world which can give us a false peace. So a false peace is anything that essentially, it's not peace because it numbs us out, so we're not feeling as much, but it's because we're not feeling. So addictions, poor behavior, this is when we go into our patterns of coping, right? The big bucket of ice cream in the basement, whatever it is, right? All the way up to the addictions. And then, there's also different medications and things that we can use to dull ourselves. And sometimes those are needed in the short term to get us over a very difficult period of time. But in the long term, they're not going to be the solution to finding that peace within. So that's the first level. So feeling at peace with life. So how does this level relate to our physical health? Well, basically, when we're in peace, our stress level is very low, right? What do we know about the connection between stress and physical health? Well, I've heard some in the medical field say it is the source of all medical problems, right? Once we have stress in our body, our immune system goes down. Fear does that too, by the way. Fear causes stress. Stress causes our immune system to go down. It causes us to be out of balance. It causes hormonal disruptions. It causes inflammation in the body. And then all those things then cause all other kinds of physical manifestations as well. So the more we can create that peace in our life, the more we can create that health in our body. So that's one level where it's connected. So the second one is, from that definition I read at the beginning, is when you find hope and comfort, even in the hardest times. So where do we find hope and comfort? Oh, sorry. I thought she was giving me some kind of a secret signal. I'm like, what? What? Yes, in community. Thank you, Katie. I thought you were telling me I had to be more quiet or I had to bend down. I'm not sure. I'm not sure what the instruction was. Yeah. Yes, that's exactly right. Spiritual community, right, is what gives us hope and comfort, even in the hardest times. Well, I'll tell you that this community is what honestly kept me going through the last couple of years with all of what's gone on. The love, the connection, the mirroring, the holding each other, right? That's what honestly kept me going. And another part of this level, so as we go sort of down within ourselves, this is about really getting to know who we are, right? That we are a soul that has a body. We are not a body with a soul. We are a soul that has a body. So we're here experiencing this physical realm. I don't know about you, but there's some days when I go, okay, you know what? This was all fun, but can we not go upside down on the roller coaster today? Can I have just a day where things are just sort of calm and even and yeah. So this is a level where we nurture ourselves even deeper. And not only do we nurture the connection of others in community, but we also nurture the connection within ourselves. And we understand within ourselves what the connection is between that spirit and this form. So our co-founder, Myrtle Fillmore, which I would actually say is probably the founder because she went first and then her husband Charles sort of came along once she had the evidence, shall we say. And in, did I write down the date? 1896, or 1886 actually is when Myrtle had tuberculosis. So 1886, she had tuberculosis. She heard this idea that she was actually a divine being, and she decided, and by the way, the doctors had given her 3 months to live at this point. That idea just took hold for her, and she started affirming every single day and sending the message to all the organs, all the life centers, all the cells in her body. Her message was words of power, truth, and light, and she asked for forgiveness for all the ways in which she had said not good things about herself or about her body. So when we're having, let's say, unbalances showing up in our body, how kind are you to yourself, to that part of your body? Do you think, oh man, if it would just, if this leg would just start working, I could get out there and I could be doing the things I'm doing, geez, right? Or what she did was to begin to speak those words of love to herself every day for 2 years. So who's ever come up with an affirmation for themselves and they said it religiously for 3 days? Saw no sign of change and then just let it go. I have, no question. It's me. I'm there. And I loved our speaker last week, Lou, when she talked about the physical seeds and planting the physical seeds. So think about that, right? We're planting the seeds in ourselves. If you're planting a garden, you don't just toss the seeds and then you hope for the best, right? You prepare the soil, you tend them, you take care of them. Well, it's the same thing as we move to another level of spiritual health within ourselves. We start to notice how it is that we treat ourselves. Right? It's really important to treat ourselves in the truth of who we are. Right? How many times do you criticize yourself and say, oh, it wasn't good enough. I'm stupid. I shouldn't have done that. And why do I even try? What's the point? Right? Or the sneaky one for me is, it doesn't matter anyway. Doesn't matter. What's the point? Right? And what's really interesting about this too is I realized that so when she did this, and she cured herself of tuberculosis. Did I say that? So after this 3-month death sentence that she was given, which she said, nope, I don't think so. And she started into this, speaking to her cells in her body in this way of love and appreciation and forgiveness. For 2 years, she was then cured of tuberculosis, right? Which at the time was pretty much unheard of. But I also realized that time is very different from the time that we're living in now. Because at that time, there was all different kinds of healing modalities. There was basically, a free marketplace, and people would go to wherever, whatever resonated for them, whatever they knew that their body would respond to. And all that actually began to change in 1910 with the Flexner Report. And I'll just leave it there. If that's something you want to investigate, you can go pick up the research skills and go from there. But it was from that point that we all began to be herded into only one way of looking at health. And all of that free marketplace kind of went to the wayside as, well, it's not real health. It's not real healing. It's not real. Right? So the other thing at this level is that we begin to understand ourselves better and our fears. And so I had a very full circle moment as I was away. It was our very last day, and it just so happened, it occurred to me in the moment that we could go to the beach where I first went when I was 17 years old, which I was terrified. So I don't know how to swim. The waves are really big. It's very scary. And I just felt this feeling like I wanted to go and try again. I've done so much growing. I've done so much changing. I'm so much stronger in my body as a result of the spiritual health that I've been pursuing. So we went back. And so I'm like, okay. I said to my husband, okay, I'm going to go in. I'm going to go. So this particular beach, I know that there are waves that come in sets. So there's like massive waves that crash on the beach. Like I'm talking like 10, 15 feet, right? And then it'll be a period of calm. So to get in and out of the water, you have to be paying attention to where is the wave set at? Is it getting bigger, or is it receding? Is it this a calm point? So I looked and I waited and I waited and I watched, and so then I went into the water and I got in and I was out there and I was floating away and I was so excited and I was so happy. And I watched. It's okay. I'm ready to come back in now. In is much more difficult than out, I will say. In, you're going with the water and with the waves. It sucks you right out. So out is the opposite. So I came. I watched. I waited. I looked. I got to the edge where I was able to make it out. I ran up the beach. I was so excited. I said, "Oh, did you see me? Did you see me? Did you take a picture?" And my husband from his book goes, "No." And I'm like, "Oh, this is like a full circle moment. Like I did this. I can't believe I did this. This is so great." And he said, "Look, go back in. I'll get your picture this time." I'm like, "Okay." So I go running over and I'm waiting, and I get in, I go at the water, and I'm like, "Yay, yay, this is it, this is so great, yay." So then I'm looking, I'm like, okay, all right, waiting for the waves. Okay, they're getting smaller and smaller and smaller. So I swim, dog paddle because I don't know how to swim. Swim. I get to the edge, and I'm able to stand up, and I'm just like, the water's about here. And I just start to move when all of a sudden I feel this. And I'm like, uh-oh. Uh-oh, this is not good. So I put my hands out like this to stop the wave. And then this little moment of wisdom goes, nuh-uh, surrender. So I'm like, okay, if I don't surrender, this is not going to go well. So at that moment that the wave crashed over me, I just completely surrendered. I tumbled up the beach, sand up my nose, like the whole thing. I managed to keep my bathing suit on, so that's a good thing. Got on my hands and knees. But you know what? Through the whole thing, I wasn't scared. I knew it was going to happen. Like, at this point, I knew it was going to happen. It was like, uh-oh, which is my, in this scenario, in this setting, it was my worst nightmare, right? So I invite you to challenge those fears. Because as we grow, as we deepen into our own spiritual health, everything changes. Okay, the deepest level. Number 3, spiritual health can support you as you experience life completely. Experience life completely. Many years ago, before I started my spiritual journey, I thought I experienced life completely. I thought it was that rapids, throwing me around, tossing me, whatever. I did not experience life at all at that point. Barely at the surface. What I find from this very deep level is I experience life very deeply. And what that looks like is, for instance, walking by flowers and noticing the exquisite beauty that they radiate. A blade of grass, a little animal. Sometimes it's a human-made, it's a bridge. It's like, wow, look at what we humans did. That's amazing. And it's a deep experiencing of life. But what stops us or limits us from experiencing deeply and fully is our unconscious. And our unconscious is created from all the experiences that we could not feel or fully experience. And it is our unconscious that is the thing that until we make it conscious and until we heal those wounds, until we're able to feel fully and experience fully what those things that stopped us were, that's where we start to experience fully. And our unconscious, so how this relates to the body, is our unconscious shows up in our body. So our body and what we can call, problems with it can be a beautiful guide to helping us find those places in our unconscious. Because if we don't, then it's the unconscious that will run our lives. It's the unconscious where you show up you go, okay, I'm not doing this anymore. I am not dating guys like this. I am not going to work at a job like this again. So you get a new job, you change the cast of characters, and suddenly the whole scenario repeats. Anyone else experienced that before? Yeah, that's exactly what happens. That is the unconscious playing out in our lives, right? Which is a beautiful thing because, as we begin to see it, we can do consciously something about it. We can look into whatever healing modality, whatever it is, as we sit with it, to tap into that inner wisdom within and to know what to do with that. So this is also, I think, the place of unity consciousness. Oh, right, my slide. Perfect. So this is a slide I just saw on Facebook from Nassim Haramein, who's doing all this amazing, really brilliant scientific research about the universe and how it all works and the laws of the universe. So basically, this to me is unity consciousness, right? It's the universe, and you see all those little fingers up there? That's each of us. That is our individualized divine essence that we talk about, right? We talk about expressing our divine essence in the world. We talk about our spiritual purpose. Okay, so that is what that is. And we are how the universe begins to experience itself as life. We are on the edge. So you'll notice we are all completely independent and unique, which is why what works for one other person does not work for me. And what I think works great may not work good for you, right? That's why we all have to go and access that place of inner wisdom within us. So we are the boundary. So you've heard it said, we are the hands and feet of God. Okay, we are. We are. So if we are in fear and we're not fully living life, we are not fulfilling our divine purpose, and we are not at that level of spiritual health that's possible for us. And this is why the movie this afternoon is really important, because it's a huge understanding of putting this all together, of the trauma, and everybody has experienced trauma in different ways, different levels, which then manifests in behaviors and things that make our life not great. But if we can understand how it all works, we can bring such greater compassion to ourselves and to others in our community. And that's what our world is right now, right? We've got 7 billion people in a lot of trauma. So what Katie was talking about in terms of my apprenticeship is I've been learning this new model of embodiment. And it is what I consider the deepest level. Well, at this point, who knows? 2 years from now, I'll go, remember when I said I thought that was the deepest level? Well, I found something else. Who knows? Who knows? At this point, all I can say is this is what I found to be the deepest level. And that is in the place of embodying the divine masculine energy from the universe with the divine feminine energy that rises up. And as we do this, there's a dance that happens within us between those two energies. And this is about wholeness and completion and healing. So what I've experienced is as I've gone through this process of bringing in these energies, there's been layers and layers and layers of that trauma that have been healed and lifted, which allows me to experience life more fully, more deeply. So the divine feminine, or the divine masculine, so everyone's going, what? So we have, of course, two general models on the earth of people, one in a feminine body and one in a masculine body. And everybody contains both those energies within them. Women embody the divine feminine and men embody the divine masculine. But the dance within is the same. Well, actually, I don't know if it's the same. because I'm not in a masculine body. So you guys, you're going to have to tell me how this works for you. So this idea of spiritual health. Oh, and let me tell you, as I have been in this place of fully embodying myself at this deep level, I've become way stronger in my physical body. The things that used to pull me off, I used to suffer from massive migraine headaches constantly. I would, be in bed at least a couple days a month. I would be, have headaches. I would be sick all the time. It's very interesting what's been happening for me and this place of health in my physical body as I've been on this journey to embody my spiritual health. So I think it mirrors at all the different layers. Okay, so you ready for an experience of this? Okay, so in the meditation, I'm going to take us on a meditation with those energies of the divine feminine, the divine masculine. So if you are open and wanting to go on this journey with me, by all means, and if not, I invite you just to close your eyes and go within to your own inner wisdom. So Anthony is going to lead us in a chant. As we go in, so just get yourself comfortable. And taking a deep breath in and letting it go. And letting go of all those mind concepts. Perhaps there's been something that was triggered for you or a piece of wisdom. I invite you just to take a deep breath in and let that go. And I invite you to take your awareness to your heart. And just slow down. Just begin to become aware of that inner world. That inner wisdom. And on your next breath in, I invite you to take your awareness to the bottoms of your feet. To imagine that you have roots growing from the bottom of your feet down, down, down into Mother Earth. Connecting to that beautiful, divine, feminine energy. The creative life force that is connected to all. That force that brings love into the world. And allow it with each breath in to begin to rise up those roots. Rising up through all the layers of the earth, up into your legs. Allowing that beautiful, supportive, loving, divine feminine energy to rise up further, up to your heart. And imagine that it opens the petals of your heart like a flower. Feeling that love begin to pour into your body. And imagine it now rising up further into your throat, relaxing the muscles of the throat. Rising up into the top of your head, opening up your crown chakra like a flower. And as we open up, we invite the energies of the divine masculine to descend from the universe down through our crown chakra. This beautiful pillar of light. This divine masculine energy is like the banks of the river, the container of 100% conscious awareness and presence. And I invite you to imagine this pillar of light begins to open up a space in the middle and move to the outer edges of your body, allowing that beautiful divine feminine energy to rise up and begin to dance. Holding yourself in this container of love and presence. Know that you are this bridge between heaven and earth. Just sit for a few moments of silence in this beautiful container with the divine feminine energy running through. Creative, loving, supportive force. And just see if there's some inner wisdom that arises for you about whatever's been on your mind and your heart. Just allow yourself to be open to receive. And on your next breath in, I invite you to bring your awareness once again back into this room, feeling so much gratitude for all of who you are, all of what you bring. Feeling so grateful to be here at this time. To be the sovereign being that you are. Which means ruling over yourself. Living life from a place of your own inner wisdom and guidance. Not what somebody tells you it has to be, or the way it is. And feel this feeling of healing and embodiment. Embodying this divine force. These divine energies anchored into your physical body. Bringing you peace, hope, comfort, and joy. Bringing yourself back fully now into the here and now in this room.